The math portion of the ACT test will challenge your ability to find the area of geometric shapes. There are some formulas that we need to review for this purpose. I'll show them to you in the classroom. Okay, let's talk about area of geometric shapes. There's a couple of them you should know off the top of your head, like area of a square or a rectangle. You're just going to multiply the length times the width. Now let's talk about some that you might not work with very often or just you're a little rusty. So let's start with a trapezoid. Trapezoid is basically a four-sided figure with one set of parallel lines, and it's going to have two bases. We're going to call the top one base 1 with B1 and the bottom B2 for base 2. And to find the area of this guy, you're going to need a height. So I'm going to draw like a right angle down there, drop that, and I'm going to call that H. To find the area of a trapezoid, I'm going to call that A of T, T for trapezoid. That's all you got to do is take the height that's given, if it's given, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Height over 2, height divided by 2, times the sum of the bases. So times the quantity, b sub 1 plus b sub 2. That's a trapezoid. Next one, let's talk about triangle. We should know how to do it, but I can't tell you how many people I see mess it up. See, I give you the base and the height of a triangle, a right triangle. The area of that triangle is going to be 1/2 base times height. A lot of people just multiply the base and heights and they get it wrong, so don't forget to take half because it's like half a square, if you will. Third one, area of a circle. All right, so we got a circle, we got a radius. Area of a circle, I'll draw a little circle like that. Area of a circle, that's equal to pi r squared. Area is square units. That's how you remember area of a circle is pi r squared. Not the circumference formula. A lot of people like to do the circumference formula for that, which is 2 pi r. That's a perimeter, not an area. So it's a way to remember the formula for area of circles, pi r squared. Don't forget it. Okay, those are some simple formulas that you should know. Let's take a look at some more complex problems because they're going to be a lot harder than just given a radius, find the area, and some of these others. So let me show you how you could see them on the ACT. All right, the first one. Let me draw a rectangle. Not very good, but it'll do. We got a diagonal in here. And I'm going to tell you that the diagonal is a length of 10 inches. And let's connect these a little bit better. And then I'm going to give you the height, or the width. We're going to call it 6 inches. And you're asked to find the area of that rectangle. But guess what? We know we have to take this length times this height, or base times width, whatever you want to, base and height or length and width to find that area, but you're missing that dimension. Well, don't forget this is a right angle. We can use Pythagorean theorem to find this missing side because we need that length. So you're going to have to take 10 squared is equal to 6 squared plus, I don't know, let's call it b squared here. So 10 squared, that's 100, equals 36 plus b squared. Subtract 36 from both sides. So you're going to get 64 equals b squared. And then you have to take the square root of both sides, so you're going to get b equals 8. So you just discovered this was 8. That's the hard part. You've got to find that missing length. There's more to it than just multiplying the numbers. A lot of times you're going to see an answer as 60, and you just take that would be from taking 6 times 10. They know people just sometimes just want to take the numbers given. You've got to know what numbers to use. So in this case, your area would just be the 8 times 6, giving you 48 inches squared. When we're talking about area, we've got to have square units. All right, let's take a look at another one. Let's take a look at a trapezoid. And I'm going to give you that this is a right angle here. I'm going to tell you that the base at the top is 6 centimeters. I'm going to tell you the base of the bottom is 10 centimeters. And I'm going to give you the height of 5 centimeters. You just have to remember how to find the area of a trapezoid. You're going to take your height, which is 5, over 2, times the sum of the bases, which is 6 plus 10. So that's going to give you 5/2 times 16. If you want, you can put that over 1. And then what I like to do is I like to simplify before I multiply. 2 goes into 16 8 times. So all you're left with is 5 times 8, and you got 40 centimeters squared for that one. Okay, let's find the area of a triangle. And you're probably thinking, oh, I know how to find the area of a triangle. But I'm going to kick it up a notch. It's going to involve 30, 60, 90 in it, that we talked about in another lesson. So say I gave you, this is a length of 16 feet. That's opposite the 90. And say I tell you this angle right here is 60 degrees. And that's all you got to find the area of this. Don't forget the area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. Well, we got to find the base and the height. And now if you remember, here's how it goes. 30, 60, 90. Write it down. And it goes x radical 3, and then 2x. What side did they give you in this triangle? They gave you the side opposite the 90. So you're going to take that 2x and set it equal to 16. Solve for x by dividing by 2. You're going to get x is 8. So that means the side opposite the 30 degrees is 8, and the side opposite the 60 is going to be 8 radical 3. So opposite the 60, here's the 60, opposite it, that's 8 radical 3 here. And opposite, well, if this is 60, that's got to be 30 here. So this is going to have to be 8. Now you have your base, now you have your height. Let's plug it into our formula, our handy-dandy formula. We got 1/2, we got our base, which is 8, then we have our height, which is 8 radical 3. Now what I like to, you can multiply these two together, that would give you 64 radical 3, and then divide it by 2 if that helps. I'd like to just simply take this 8 divided by 2, making that 4. 4 times 8, you get 32 radical 3, whatever way you want to do it. But the key thing is being able to find the missing two sides, but you've got to know your 30, 60, 90. All right, one more. They love this question, so I saved it for last. I saved the best for last. I've looked at a lot of different questions, and they just love the circle inside a square. So let's go ahead and draw a circle. I'll do my best to draw the square that goes with it. Okay, and then they give you the side length of a square. Let's call it 10. What unit did I decide to use? 10 meters. It's a big one. Okay, and you're asked to find the area of a circle. Well, to find the area of a circle, first of all, I'll recall what that formula is. Area is equal to pi r squared. Well, what they actually gave you is, if you can see it, the length of the side of this square is actually the diameter of that circle. You'll notice they've given us the diameter, which is 10 meters. But the radius will be half of that, so the radius is 5 meters. So now we're ready to plug the number in. Plug 5 into the r squared. So you're going to get area equals pi times 5 quantity squared. So you're going to get area is equal to 25 pi. Now sometimes they might write it an exact answer, and that is an exact answer, but sometimes they will give you a decimal equivalent to choose from, and that, if you work it out in your calculator, is 78.5 meters squared. Watch out for your circles and your squares. It just depends on what they give you to know what you got to use.